I wanted to put up or answer a question that I was asked on my previous video. And I've actually been asked it before. Someone hit me up they found me on Facebook and they asked me this question about going lease or company. They were kind of stuck on going lease or company. What I did was I went straight lease, and everybody does it for their own reasons. You'll hear a lot of people say, no, don't go lease. You're basically just paying for Prime's truck, which Prime does have it's probably the highest lease payment out there, so it is pretty high, and I do feel like it's unnecessarily high. I really do feel like that. And of course with lease, you're paying for everything: truck payment, fuel, taxes, repair, everything you're paying for. You have that responsibility, and you're also paying your own taxes, and that alone will scare someone away from doing lease, because not a lot of people like keeping up with their receipts and doing all the math, and it can become a bit tedious to keep up with. I don't have a problem with the administration side, and a lot of people will also tell you not to go lease if you're a rookie. Get out there, learn the business, learn how to work the fuel. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry to go just the stuff you see while you out here on the road. If I was ratchet, I would turn this camera around. I'm here in the yard and I just dropped my load, and it's trucks parked on the other side of the yard, and this trucker, he parked, it's extra parking so you can go to sleep, and this trucker was on his way to sleep. He doesn't have a front curtain up so you can see directly from the front of the truck to the back of the truck, and he going to sleep, and he's naked. Just naked, light on. He getting ready to get in his, he done got in his bed now, turn the light off, but he was butt booty behind naked. Thanks sir. I'm sorry, just the stuff you see out here. But anywho, I guess these truckers think that their truck is just, you can't see through the windows. I don't know. I'm sorry. People are scared to go lease because of that fact. They'll tell a rookie not to do it. Learn the business. Learn how to manage your fuel. Fuel is the biggest expense next to your truck payment out here. If you don't know how to manage it, if you don't know how to watch your fuel consumption, if you don't know how to put the fuel in, to make the most for your week, it can get you, and you can end up putting out more money than you get in. So they tell you to learn the business, learn how to run, watch your fuel, manage your, all of that before you go into lease, because they say lease is a big decision, which it is. It's nothing you should take lightly. You do pay a lot in lease. You do pay out a lot. It's been some weeks in lease where I've made less, and then there's some weeks where checks were a lot more. I think the most that I've gotten running lease for Prime on a single settlement was I think it was $5,100 altogether. I do have 20% coming out of my settlement going into my e-fund, my emergency fund. 20% of my take-home sits over there, so I also count what went to e-fund that's just sitting there. So I had about $5,100. That was a good week. I don't see many of those. Matter of fact, I only made $5,100 one time. I don't know what the dispatcher was on, but I'm waiting for him to get back on it. And again, some weeks I'm in the hole, and most time those weeks are when I go home. You go home, you're not rolling, you're in the hole. And a lot of people find it hard to climb out of the hole after that. Normally dispatchers are supposed to throw you loads that pay well so that you can get right out of the hole, but some people come into contact with dispatchers who seem like they just don't care about them or something, and it takes them forever to climb out of the hole, or they went too deep in the hole and it's going to be a few weeks before they even see a settlement because Prime is going to get paid first. So those are some things that people say stay away from. They say it's a trap, don't do it. Me, I went directly into Lease, and the reason why is because I had a lease trainer. And the lease trainer, the benefits of having a lease trainer is, a good lease trainer who doesn't try to hide things, because my lease trainer would show me settlements, would show me the ropes pretty much when it came to lease and what it is that you're expecting and the lease terms and all of that. He showed me that, and I also like the flexibility. That was a big one for me, the flexibility. With lease, you can take off whenever you want, as opposed to company. It's like building up paid time off, as with any company out there, it's just not trucking. I like the flexibility. That was a big one for me. That's what made my decision. I travel a lot, out of the country or whatnot. I travel, so having that say so of when I can and cannot take off was a big one for me. That was a seller for me. Everything else I pretty much can handle. Now, I do feel that I wasn't making as much money as I feel like I should have, and that could be a variation of things, being that I'm a rookie and they do try us. They will send us bad loads. It could be my dispatcher, because it's sad to say, but dispatchers do show favoritism. It could be my going home. Over the last few months, it's been pretty recent, I've gone home more than I ever have, and that's because I'm in this transition period of whether or not I want to leave or stay. So be home more or stay out on the road. So that's why. But it can be a combination of things. But some people will say, hey, I work company and I make just as much as a lease driver. Like I said, I've made a lot more than company, and I've made the same amount as a company driver some weeks, and sometimes, like I said, I was in the hole. It really does vary, and there are different variables that contribute to it in my experience. But ultimately, based on my experience, I don't regret going lease. I really do not regret going lease. And the good thing about Prime is, if you find lease is not for you, turn the truck in, walk away, go company. You can do that. I didn't want to give up that flexibility of being off when I wanted to be off. That was just big for me. It really just was. And some might say, hey, you paid for it. You paid big for it. So hey, that was the risk that I took. I like the flexibility. I could get a breather whenever I wanted to, for how long I needed to. That was just big for me. That was probably the selling point for me. But you do pay for it. Don't think it's going to be easy. It's not. So on top of you learning how to run your own business, pretty much, you're a rookie coming out into an industry that you don't know too much about. You're learning everything about, so it can be a bit overwhelming. And you can talk to people in the lease department. They'll tell you, hey, we've had, and you can talk to different drivers, but you can talk to people in the lease department. They'll say, hey, we've had a lot of failure cases because of that. They become overwhelmed and like, oh no, I can't do this, I can't manage this and try to learn all of this, and breaking myself into driving 11 hours a day. It can be a bit overwhelming. Me, I can take a lot, so I don't regret going lease. But based on my experience and where I am now, what I would say is go, if you can, if you're deciding whether or not you want to go company or lease, because you're considering all of the consequences and the ups and the downs and all of that. What I would do is, if you can, request or get a trainer who is Lease. Glean from that trainer everything that trainer is willing to share with you. Even if they're not willing to share everything with you, glean from other, you can get on different Facebook forums and stuff for prime drivers. There are lease drivers out there, lease trainers, glean from them. So if you can, get a lease trainer, and then once training is over, go company for a few months. Get your stamina up for being over the road, being on the road all that time. Get your stamina up, get your knowledge up, ask questions, and then after you feel, yeah, this is for me being out here on this road, then go ahead and go lease. It don't take a whole long time. You don't have to be company for a long time to be like, okay, yeah, I know I can do this. Because once you get out on that road for a couple of months, you're gonna know. You're really gonna know. So I would say get a lease trainer if you can. Glean from that lease trainer. Watch how they manage their clock. Watch how they manage their time off. Ask every question. Ask them how long they've been in lease, how long they've leased, how many lease contracts they've completed. Ask everything that you can, any and every question that you can. Glean from that lease trainer, and then when you get out of training, go company for a few months. Even if you're sold, even if your lease trainer said, hey, do this, do lease, don't go company. Even if you're sold, come out of lease. You'll come out knowledgeable in how Prime operates their lease program. But go company. Get your stamina up, and once you're ready, go ahead and get your own truck. Go lease. That's my advice. That's what I've gleaned. If I can turn back the hands of time, I probably would have done that. I still would have ended up lease because of why I wanted to do lease. I still would have ended up lease, but I would have done it that way first. I had a lease trainer. I would have gleaned from him, came out, went company. That's my advice. If you have any questions, comments, concern, if you agree, disagree, if there are any seasoned truckers watching this, let me know. Let me know if you agree, if you have anything to add. You don't really have to come on being negative. I know people have their negative thoughts of Prime and their lease program. You don't have to come on here being negative. We don't need all of that. Just if you're seasoned, or if you've done leasing with Prime or leasing period, if you have some advice, post it so others like myself or who are coming in, which is why I make my videos for those who are new just like me, just coming in, or just rookies, and I'm just giving them my account, my experience. Put some helpful tips in the comments. All right, y'all, I gotta leave this place. I'm just sitting in their dock door and they're finished with me. So y'all have a good night. God bless.